Liberal Dan Radio presents
Fat Man Rants.
Fat Man Rants. Here we go. The first of two tonight. Federal immigration authorities arrested a Palestinian activist Saturday who played a prominent role in Columbia University's protests against Israel, a significant escalation in the Trump administration's pledge to detain and deport student activists. Mahmoud Khalil, a graduate student at Columbia until this past December, was inside his university-owned apartment when several immigration and customs enforcement agents entered and took him into custody, his attorney Amy Greer told the Associated Press. Greer said she spoke with phone to one of the ICE agents during the arrest, who said they were acting on State Department orders to revoke Khalil's student visa. The attorney said that Khalil did not have a student visa, but he was a permanent resident with a green card, and the agent said, well, we're revoking that too. You know, because they don't know what the hell they're doing, so they just have to make crap up as they go along. Spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security, Tristan McLaughlin, confirmed Khalil's arrest in a statement on Sunday, describing it as being in support of President Trump's executive orders prohibiting anti-Semitism. Again, as I said in this week's Hypocrite of the Week, if he wants to deport anti-Semites, he should start with himself. Because Donald Trump is one of the biggest anti-Semites that I've seen. He went to a conference on anti-Semitism in front of a whole bunch of Jewish people and told them that if he lost, it would be the fault of the Jews. Now, you're telling us that if you're scapegoating the entire religion, if you would have lost, again, that's some Adolf Hitler level BS. That is absolutely some Adolf Hitler level BS. Now, there were hundreds of demonstrators in New York City on Monday to demand the release of Mahmoud Khalil. A federal judge steps away from the Palestinian activist, and Columbia University graduate called for the activist and graduates' removal from. Let's say that again. As hundreds of demonstrators rallied in New York City on Monday to demand the release of Mahmoud Khalil, a federal judge just steps away blocked the Palestinian activist and Columbia University graduates' removal from the United States. Judge Jesse Furman said Khalil is to remain in the U.S. to preserve the court's jurisdiction as the court weighs a filing challenging his arrest and planned deportation. Hearing was scheduled for Wednesday at a federal court in New York City. Now, here's the deal. I'm in part of several groups that have both liberals and conservatives, leftists and rightists discussing these issues or whatever. And I was like, look, I'm a Jewish person. I don't like Hamas whatsoever. I don't agree with people who support Hamas. I have yet to see a single piece of evidence showing that this individual has any feelings towards Hamas that are positive. I do know that he was somebody who was working as a sort of mediator between the student activists who were protesting on Columbia's University and the administration of Columbia University itself. He was trying to have both sides work together on that. I've seen no example of him, doing anything that would deem to be dangerous or harmful to anybody. I've not yet seen him say from the river to the sea slogan, but unfortunately a lot of people believe that the from the river to the sea slogan is tame and not anti-Semitic when it is. But even if it was, I don't agree with the idea that we should be deporting people simply because they're anti-Semitic, and I'm Jewish. I don't want to sit here, and people should have the right to free speech. Now, I can criticize that speech. I have criticized the speech of the people who stood there and shouted from the river to the sea, because it is a phrase used by Hamas to justify the genocide and ethnic cleansing of Jews from the area. And there are other people who use it who don't realize that, who, some of them, when they do realize it, will stop using the phrase because it's anti-Semitic. It calls for our extermination. But I haven't seen anything with him saying anything about that. There was an individual in one of these groups that I was in that was talking about, didn't you know that there were people that were harmed at these protests? There are people that went to the hospital because of these protests. There were Jewish people who were trapped in a library, who were hiding in a library because they were afraid of what the activists might do, even though that wasn't at Columbia University. That was at a university close by, like a smaller one. But and if I saw evidence that he committed crimes, whilst doing this, and I think what happened to potentially the Jewish students who were trapped in the library, what happened to them may very well could be considered a crime, but they haven't presented any evidence of that yet. And these people are just basically saying that they're willing to incarcerate people or to throw people out of the country simply because they're related somehow, not by a familiar relation, but they have some sort of connection to people who did these bad things. Unless he told these people to do it, though, unless he tacitly approved of that, unless he encouraged them to do it, or unless he participated in that harm that was done to these Jewish students, then I'm not going to sit here and say that these administration actions are correct whatsoever. Furthermore, not only does this not help Jewish people, this harms Jewish people because you're taking actions that are supposedly being done in our name that is really just for your anti-Muslim agenda, for your willingness and your desire to want to just kick all the Palestinians out of everywhere they live. I guess maybe he has more plans to redevelop other areas where Palestinians live. But he wants to, turn all Palestinian activists into bad guys so he can further justify his actions in Gaza when he kicks everybody out and tries to raise it and redevelop it as a, Monte Carlo of the Middle East. And yes, you're right, Robin. They did not produce a warrant, at least as far as we know. ICE did not produce a warrant, and they do not have the authority or the ability to come in to a non-public area of the school and use and arrest somebody without having an arrest warrant. But again, we have a lawless president who not only does he not feel that the laws apply to him, he feels that he's a dictator from day one. He feels that he's a king.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
His White House absolutely, posted an image on Facebook of him dressed up as king, as an animated Trump as king. And he has the Supreme Court who basically said that he can be as lawless as he wants because there's no way to go after him for said lawlessness. There's nothing that Donald Trump feels that he's prevented from doing at this point. And the harm, again, that he's causing with all of these actions, including taking people who are legally here and trying to deport them anyway. Now, if it was shown that this person was an actual member of Hamas, sure, absolutely. Yeet the guy from the country. Get him out. I don't care. If you are an active part of a terrorist organization, I have no problem deporting you. But not just the people on the left, not just the Palestinian activists, mind you. If you are a member of a domestic terrorist organization in the United States, then you should also have those repercussions to you. Deport them too. If you really cared about Jewish people, President Trump, you would, wanted to be deporting all people who are anti-Semitic. But you're not going to do that because the people that are anti-Semites who are your base and your followers, you're not going to touch them because you need your brown shirts for the future. So you'll forgive me if I roll my eyes so far back into the head that I can see like the back of my skull or my brain or whatever you want to see. You'll forgive me if I don't believe Donald Trump and take him at his word that he's doing this because he wants to fight anti-Semitism. No, you don't. If you wanted to fight anti-Semitism, you would have made comments in the past how perpetuating that, Jews are good with money. If you wanted to combat anti-Semitism, you would have went to a conference on anti-Semitism and then blamed all Jews if you lost. You don't care about Jews, Donald Trump. You absolutely care nothing for the Jewish people. You just want to use the Jewish people as your pawns. And if you're a Jewish person, I'm speaking Jewish person right now. I mean, you can listen if you're not Jewish, but this is a message directly to the Jewish people who still support Donald Trump. You are allowing yourselves to be used as pawns for his Nazi goals. And if you can't see how what Donald Trump is doing right now and has been doing and plans on doing in the future, if you can't see that everything that he's telegraphed so far shows that he is using Adolf Hitler's tactics, shows that he's using Nazi tactics, shows that he hates, Jews, Muslims, etc., and will do what Adolf Hitler did to Jews to whatever, anybody else. I have no qualm in my mind saying that the people who are marginalized and oppressed, who are under threat from Donald Trump's actions absolutely have every absolute right to be concerned that more actions will be taken that will be harmful to their lives, even ending them. Prove me wrong. Stop being an anti-Semite. But you Jewish supporters who are supporting him still, despite the fact that he's telegraphing his Nazism, despite the fact that he's, has Musk and other people give Nazi frickin' salutes at these, speeches that they give. Y'all need to, even Nick Fuentes said that, what was it, Steve Bannon's Nazi salute went too far? When a Nazi says you're too Nazi, that really means you've jumped the shark when it comes to Nazism. So yeah, you are not helping Jewish people at all, Donald Trump, with these actions. This does not help the Jewish people whatsoever. This hurts us. It also hurts people who are here legally. It hurts our system of justice because you're basically acting like a king. And, you aren't a king.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
Despite how many times you want to say that you're a king. And, again, if you're still supporting him, you're basically tacitly approving his bigotry, his hatred, his racism, etc. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Leave your comments down below. Remember to like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel. And, of course, unless you're a Nazi, have a good day.